Hello, Muskegon Rotarians. I'm Nancy Crandall, and I am the host today for a distinguished panel of Muskegon Rotarians who are going to tell you about the Rotary International Foundation and the Muskegon Rotary Foundation. Our panel includes Jenny Sprague, who is the chair of the Rotary International Foundation Council, Dr. Don Crandall, longtime Rotarian and past district officer of Rotary, and Mark Eisenbarth, who chairs the World Community Service Committee and is currently a member of the WEHOP board, and he will tell you about that. We are going to start today with a brief video clip from Rotary International.
For over 100 years, Rotary members have taken action when challenges arise. We know what people can do when they come together and put others before themselves.
The team lead said they will continue the campaign to fight against the coronavirus.
Local Rotary clubs deliver food and supplies to people in need.
Strangers become friends, helping hands multiply, and problems turn into solutions. We are Rotary. We are people of action. Learn more at rotary.org/action.
And Jenny, would you begin by telling us a bit about the International Foundation and our Rotary Foundation? Let's start with the Rotary International Foundation, the mission.
Thank you, Nancy. The mission of the Rotary Foundation is to enable Rotary members to advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace throughout the improvement of health, the support of education, and the alleviation of poverty. The Foundation is a not-for-profit corporation supported solely by voluntary contributions from Rotary members and friends of the Foundation who share its vision of a better world. Donations from our club and Rotarians around the world support the mission of the Rotary Foundation. The Rotary Foundation transforms our gifts into service projects that change lives both close to home and worldwide. When a Rotarian gives to the annual fund, his donation makes doing good in the world possible. In the 2019-20 fiscal year, Rotarians gave $123.6 million to the annual fund to support the work of the Rotary Foundation to promote peace, fight disease, provide clean water and sanitation, save mothers and children, support education, grow local economies, work to end polio around the world, and respond to disasters. A little later in this program, I will discuss how our members can donate to support the Rotary Foundation's work through every Rotarian every year. Thank you.
And Jenny, would you just talk a bit about the history and the endowment of the RIF?
Yes, thank you, Nancy. I will do my best to give you a brief history of 100 years of Rotaries doing good in the world. At the 1917 convention, outgoing Rotary President Arch Klump proposed setting up an endowment to do good in the world. His idea and an initial contribution of $26.50 set in motion a powerful collective force that has transformed millions of lives worldwide. In 1928, the convention formally named the endowment the Rotary Foundation. In 1930, the foundation began supporting projects with a $500 award to the International Society for Crippled Children. Why, you may ask, did Rotary choose this organization for its first support? Well, a Rotary member, Edgar F. Allen, supported his local community by building a hospital in Elyria, Ohio. Subsequently, he discovered that children with disabilities are often hidden from view, and he then started the International Society for Crippled Children, which we know now as the Easter Seals, in 1919. Other Rotary members also worked to help children with disabilities, and Rotary's 1922 convention encouraged clubs to take similar actions. Hence, the Easter Seals program seemed like a logical choice for that first project supported by the foundation. In 1936, the foundation initiated the Institutes for International Understanding to illuminate global issues. In January 1947, when Rotary founder Paul Harris died, the Rotary International sent a telegram to all the membership telling them that at Paul Harris's request, they contribute to the Rotary Foundation in lieu of flowers. The Rotary membership contributed $1.3 million in Paul Harris's memory. 10 years later, in 1957, Paul Harris Fellow recognition began to award financial support of the Rotary Foundation. The Paul Harris Fellow ceremonies that we conduct are our club's thank you to these generous individuals who support the work of the Rotary Foundation. To encourage continued support of the Rotary Foundation, there are 8 levels of Paul Harris Fellow recognition for additional $1,000 contributions. Tiers 1 through 5 each have a pin with a corresponding number of sapphires. Levels 6 to 8 have a pin with 1, 2, or 3 rubies. There are other methods of contributing to the Rotary Foundation, the Paul Harris Society, the Major Donor Status, Arch Clump Society. We also have a Benefactor Bequest Society, Legacy Society, and which are efforts for planned giving, and many more ways that you can contribute. If you go to the Rotary Foundation website, they'll be happy to let you know more about it. So just let me wrap up the other significant moments in the Rotary Foundation history, which includes in 1963, Rotary established the Matching District Grant Program. In 1979, we began immunizing Philippine children to eradicate polio. And in 1981, Rotary started the Endowment Fund to support all Rotary future projects. 1985 introduced the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, followed by the Polio Plus program in 1988. In 1999, Rotary established the Rotary Peace Centers. Finally, please be assured that the Rotary Foundation is a good steward for your money. Charity Navigator awarded Rotary a 4-star rating for 9 straight years, and in 2016, the foundation received a perfect score of 100 points. Can't do better than that. And other organizations have also recognized the excellent work of the Rotary Foundation, such as the Association for Fundraising Professionals and the Kellogg and MacArthur organizations. So there's 100 years in a little bit more than 50 words.
3 minutes. All right. Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you.
The Rotary Foundation has specific areas of focus for its humanitarian projects. Don, would you talk a little about the areas of focus, please?
Yeah, I think a good way to look at an organization is to look at their budget and see how they spend their money. And if you look at Rotary Foundation expenditures for the last full year that we have audited, 2018, they spent about 45% of their expenditure went to Polio Plus, about 151 million. That's been our major project over the last 10 years and continues to be the major expenditure. After that, 2 other large categories are global grants and district grants. The global grants fall into those areas of focus that we've talked about, Jenny mentioned earlier. And again, if you look at the budget from that year, preventing disease prevention, they spent about 35.6 million, and preventing or providing clean waters, 18.7 million, supporting education, 10.9 million, growing local economies, 10.5 million, saving mothers and children through their maternity and child care, 7.2 million, and peacemaking and conflict prevention, about 3.5 million. Those are the areas of focus for Rotary International and the global grants that they administer.
And could you discuss briefly the grant application process and the role the district plays in applying for a global grant?
First of all, in order to apply for a grant, the district first has to be qualified, and that involves signing a memorandum of understanding with Rotary International, and having grant management seminars, and then additional things that individual districts would have. From a club standpoint, in order for a club to qualify for receiving a district or a Rotary International grant, the same process holds. The president has to sign a memorandum of understanding. This happens on an annual basis. Uh, members of members of our organization have to complete the grant management seminar that are put on the district. If you don't have members qualified, then you don't qualify as a club to do that. And then there are additional district requirements. One of the problems we have in our district is one of the district requirements, not a Rotary International requirement, is that each club, in order to qualify for district grants, have to donate an average of $100 per member. That's always presented a problem for our club, because we have, and other large clubs, we have 250 members. We have a turnover of 20 to 30 members a year. We would be required to donate $25,000 to Rotary International funds in order to qualify for a district grant that may be 5,000 or so. It's good for a club with 25 or 30 members. For larger clubs, it's a little more of a problem.
Okay. While the grant process links the Muskegon Rotary Foundation to the district and the Rotary International, would you please elaborate on the work of our own foundation and the many community projects that we support?
Or,
Don, I think you
first of
have.
all, go ahead.
Yeah, just tell us what we've been doing.
Okay. In order to get a district grant, you have to apply. There's a district grant committee that looks at things. Those funds, actually, money that we send off to Rotary International, they keep it for 2 years and send back a portion of that to the individual district, and as district designated funds, and those are the funds that are used for the district grant. The local Muskegon Rotary Foundation grant process is managed by our Rotary Community Grants Committee. That foundation actually was started back in 1991 with the sale of Camp Emory. That was a donated camp to the Rotary or to our Rotary Club. We sold that and established our foundation. We started developing or giving out community grants in 1994, our first project. I helped pay for the Hackley Park pavers. We've also had participated in the renovation of the Hackley Park statues in 98, and in 2015, we paid a portion of the Hackley stage. So that's some of the local things. In addition to that, we've donated to several statues, either direct contributions or a pass-through. The Muskegon campaign, the old Indian cemetery sculptures, the Bugle Boy sculptures. We also participated in Harmony Park, and also the Muskegon Promise to a great degree for a couple of years. And this year, our primary focus is food pantry. We've also contributed to multiple Muskegon YMCA, multiple NGOs and nonprofits in the community. I think that in our current balance in that fund is around 458. It's available to us, about 4% of that on an annual basis to distribute to specific grants. That grant process is available on our website. It'll tell you the stipulations, what we would approve and what we wouldn't, and the process of developing that local grant request.
All right, thank you. A significant project of the Muskegon Rotary Foundation is our work with high school and college students and our Rotarians on water and other Rotarians on water and sanitation projects in Honduras and El Salvador. Mark, maybe you can talk a little about that work and our participation in formerly HOP, now WeHop, and describe that organization, if you would, please.
Thank you, Nancy. Yes, we provide our local scholarship to Muskegon area students to travel to Honduras through WeHop, which is Water, Environmental, Humanitarian, and Outreach Projects. Each year we select students, and it is organized by our WeHop group. And the WeHop group actually includes Muskegon, Grand Haven, Spring Lake, Holland, Whitehall, Kentwood, Ludington, Cedar Springs. And it gives the students an opportunity to work with each other and get to their schools, because any student from our schools here locally can apply as well as in Grand Haven, Spring Lake. And so the opportunity to send our kids along with us to understand the humanitarian outreach is a big plus. This year, we all have experienced COVID has also affected Honduras. So this year we're looking at waiting on the requirements. The current requirements for our students to go there is quarantine for 2 weeks, and when you return, it's quarantine for 2 additional weeks. So we're trying to figure out the best way to use those dollars to move kids, get those experiences with one another. A couple big projects that WCS, which is the World Community Service, ours does. In June, we did a $2,500 to assist in LA Dante. This is a food support for our families. $2,500 for 350 families gave us a week's worth of food for each family. So even though ours seems small, it's huge for other organizations. Another project that WeHop was involved with is called the Hand Wash Project. It goes around COVID, the concerns of students washing their hands. So the Veronica Bucket hand wash, we sent 17 hand washing stations to Jamestown in Ghana, West Africa. This is where kids can wash their hands. Like, we encourage our kids here to wash their hands frequently. They don't have that service. So what we're trying to do is provide that service to them in providing these buckets, similar to a 5-gallon bucket. They set up in their school and be able to wash their hands throughout the day. Another great project that I should mention is the ventilators. Honduras hospitals need their ventilators fixed, repaired. So we sent $1,500 over to Honduras to help rebuild 100 ventilators for their patients. So those are the 2 major projects this year. COVID has definitely affected not only us, but also affected other countries.
But it's good to know that our Rotary Club is still going about the business of doing good in the world. Jenny, would you talk just a bit about, in closing, about how we can learn more about the RI Foundation and what we can all do to help support their work?
Thank you, Nancy. Please visit the Rotary.org website for more information. You'll find everything you need to there about the foundation. And also be sure to check your monthly Rotarian magazine. Every month there is something about projects that Rotary is doing in the world to make it a better place for all of us. If you're interested, there is also a book about the Rotary Foundation's first 100 years by David Forward. It's called Doing Good in the World, the Rotary Foundation's First 100 Years. You too can support the work of the Rotary Foundation when you give to every Rotarian every year. Your financial support matters. Here is a brief video that will encourage your support.
Rotary has never backed away from the hardest challenges because we're committed to a better, more equitable world. This year is no exception. Staying away from people and places we love in order to keep them safe. And despite the challenges, your generosity continued. Your donations provided more than $7 million to fund coronavirus relief projects in communities worldwide. And thanks to you, citizens of Kigali, Rwanda have their first public library. Women in rural Costa Rica are enriching their communities through social entrepreneurship. At-risk kids in Puerto Rico have an artistic outlet to heal their emotional traumas. Rotary and its partners have reduced 99.9% of polio cases worldwide. Thanks to you, the Rotary Foundation raised $408 million last year. So together, we can keep doing good in the world. Donors who take action help create lasting change. Our work isn't possible without you.